Oh, no, I need to send that to him. Oh, he sent me his address. I need to send that to him.
Can't see y'all yet. Yep. Danita is in. Megan Byers is in. Danita is in again. Oh, yeah. 155. This is going to be a good show.
Okay, hold on.
You got the last guy we had on here was the owner of DC Cigars, which it just looks like now you're part of OC Cigars.
This is Orange County.
Orange Cigars Company.
Laguna Beach, California. Not mine, I stole it.
Oh, man. How many people are watching with no power right now? Anthony White watching in the dark.
That's commitment.
You know what? This is great because share this because we have light. So this could be the light in the house.
Could be their light of the day.
I really should have eaten lunch.
Yeah, you picked a bad time.
There's cake out there.
Clarissa, she is in.
I'm
Marty
seeing.
Upton,
See,
is
I'm.
in.
That's okay.
Thank you, Marty Upton. First guy to say welcome back. I know Marty cares.
Are you sure that this is shared to newbies?
Pretty sure.
I almost.
No power in Marty's. Okay, we got 54 seconds.
Hold on just a second there, Chester. God damn it.
We're on the fucking air, man.
Can you swear on this?
You can say whatever you want in here.
Okay.
So if anybody
Danita,
gets offended
yes,
easily.
you hear Brandon. Also, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your husband, tell everybody, because we are talking shit about everybody today. 30 seconds.
Okay, hold on. There's newbies.
Yeah, Byers. The Megan Byers.
Oh, there's the live countdown.
Hang on.
Can I
Do you remember that question?
Yeah.
You remember the question of the good information we're going to give?
Sure.
Okay, well, we have 10 seconds, so.
We do?
Yep. Get
Okay.
ready.
Get
ready,
ready,
Clancy.
I want to share this.
You can't.
Dang it.
Because that's in
Do we have a lighter?
Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Right
Boom.
there. Right there. Brandon is back. And Clink is in the house.
Oh, what's up? What's up, newbies? Good to see all of you again. Except I don't see you, I just see a camera, even though I feel the love coming in. I'm
Yes.
back from the vid. I can't taste, I can't smell, but I got a new lease of life. Because I'm here with my pops.
That's it.
I'm here with the godfather of my son.
That's
that
me.
guy.
That's me.
That's Clancy Shannon
That's
right
this
there.
guy.
There's a lot of Nebraska blood, corn-fed, born and bred,
Right cheer.
right here.
Yep.
So what the hell are you doing here right now?
It's my birthday, number one.
Give it up.
I don't think
Yes.
there'd be any better way to spend my birthday than with the family.
That's
Pops,
it.
Oh.
Brandon,
The Clink.
the people who got me to move to this beautiful, warm.
Yeah, welcome to
City.
Nebraska.
It doesn't snow here.
No.
You're gonna love the winter in Texas.
It's going to be great.
And
It's
I
gonna
think
be
everyone
great.
else is. I'm sorry for everyone. Actually, I'm not sorry because we get to be the light. We get to be the candlelight in people's houses right now.
Yeah, we are.
Happy
Bringing light.
birthday. Frank Tomaszewski is in. He said, hey, that's the guy that stole my bike.
That guy.
Probably.
Yeah.
I probably did, along with this sweatshirt.
So,
So Kayla's running on generator right now, out there in the country.
in the country,
She is so country.
Robert Criswell, Scott Avery, Megan Byers, Danita. We got some people in the place right now. Give us a share if you're watching it because this is probably going to be good content.
I've got a strong lineup over here because I got Trader in the house.
Ooh.
I got DGKO in the house.
Okay.
I got Country Kayla in the house. And Ishaka Whitaker, what's up, man?
Isaacar.
That's what I said.
He was in earlier. He's the guy that's from Chicago. He's sitting outside smoking a cigar right now.
Nice.
Ballsy. I love it.
Ballsy.
And you're a golf homie there, Greg Stockard.
Greg Stocker.
That's my guy. Greg,
He
where
is.
are you?
That's it.
All right. Cigars
That's it.
101. It's Tuesday.
It is. And we're at the shop. Where are we?
We're at Industrial Cigar Company. Where is that?
Frisco, Texas.
And why should they care?
See, you're going to ask
Because
me a
I'm-
hard
See, I was
question
going to
right
try
now.
and see.
Yeah.
You're
Nice.
used to being thrown under the bus.
Yes.
This isn't the first time.
No.
Yeah, no, it is not. But you should care because you got shit else to do but sit and watch this because I'm telling you, it's going to be pretty
You're just
decent.
going to wait for your pipes to explode anyway. I mean, what the hell? It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And every time I look over you, I'm watching White Men Can't Jump over
Yeah.
here, so I'm going to be looking at you a lot.
Makes sense. I understand.
Thank you, Danita, for sharing it. Thank you for everyone who's sharing it and watching it. Let's talk cigars.
Let's do it.
And in the spirit of what our previous Cigars 101s were before I got the vid,
Yeah.
we talked a little bit of story time.
Yeah, we did.
I want to know from Clancy your most memorable cigar experience.
My most memorable cigar experience. That's a tough one. Honestly, I would have to say it was your birthday when we were in Aspen.
Oh, your 30th.
On my
30th birthday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think part of it was you were pulling out cigars that I didn't even know existed, and most people probably don't know existed. But just the fact that it was such a special moment for you kind of made it special for all of us. The whole setting with friends. It was just a super great experience, and it's something I won't forget. But
You know one thing that I learned from that experience? Cigars taste like shit at 12,000 feet.
Yeah, that's...
They were
that
all
is a
bitter,
fact.
right? I mean, it was a great experience and it was a moment, it was surreal, but you remember we just kind of stopped and went, not real good.
Nah.
a lot of alcohol was involved.
Alcohol was involved.
That might have changed things a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think just the experience of being able to, smoke with your friends and me as an expert, and good thing you brought me in here because I am the expert.
Right,
here.
obviously.
So yeah, it was that was a very memorable moment. I remember smoking a Patoro at the house when I first moved to Dallas, and the ash. I mean, it was so long, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, why isn't this thing falling off? And you obviously you explained to me why that it wasn't.
So
that was also a very
welcome to Back Under the Bus. Why would a cigar hold an ash for a long time, and why did that Patoro perform so well for you?
Man, you're killing it.
I'm just throwing him on the bus. It's his birthday.
You are literally throwing me under the bus. As a newbie myself, I'm just going to start out with, obviously, it's how the quality of the tobacco, right? Like, it's such great quality. I don't know exactly where it's from. You can
Dominican
go to that,
Republic.
Dominican. That was the first thing you told me. But it was such a smooth, easy draw for me. I think that's one thing as a new cigar smoker that was big for me, and that's kind of what got me into smoking cigars. Is it was just an easy draw. It wasn't tough. It wasn't rough. So that made a huge impression, and I'll always remember that too. Probably at Thanksgiving as well. So,
Man, yeah. For those back up here, Clancy, who's sitting next to me, we've known each other since 2005 or 2006. Mm-hmm. We have been absolute best friends since you threw me my first pass, and he was my quarterback. We went and played college football, and we've circled back, and now Clancy lives in Dallas. Like I mentioned, he is a godfather to my son, and basically, just because the amount of times you've wailed on his ass, you're basically his father too.
Yeah, of course. It's true. Of course. So, and I think anybody that comes down here and becomes part of the family deserves the bare ass spankings that they get.
Yeah.
Because you're just not gonna be doing that stuff around the house. But yeah, I think if we just go back, and it wasn't a cigar related memory, but I can still picture that pass against Beatrice. They were the preseason #1 team, and Brandon, due to an injury of a tight end in front of him, got the chance to come in, and I think you completed, you had like nine catches and then made the big catch in the end zone, which was just and I was standing in the end zone taking pictures, and it was one of the greatest memories of my life. I'll never forget it. And then one of the other great memories was when you guys were playing York, and they actually called the game at halftime because it was like 45-mile-an-hour winds, and you went on a little quick pass, and Clancy throws this little shot put thing over the top, and the wind catches it. And Brandon does one of these things back here and pulled it down, and
It was dope.
And you guys were at it was like 45-0 at halftime, and you asked the team, lightning starts coming down. They go to the other team. Hey, do you guys want to, stick around? Maybe finish it tomorrow. They're like, nah, we're gonna go home. We're fine.
They drove.
You
home.
guys win.
It's a long 2-hour drive.
Yeah. So Tony Gallant's in the house.
Oh,
He's up there in BC up there.
you
isn't
sent
he?
your bullshit weather down here.
That's it. You think we got bullshit weather? This dude's in Canada. So g'day, mate. How you doing up there? Tony, good to see you. Love it when we have these international guys stumble in.
So this is Cigars 101, and you were talking about the importance of performance, and you had that first Series P Patoro that burned forever. You're exactly right. The quality of tobacco is there, and the performance in that draw you were talking about is because the quality of the roll itself, just allowing the right amount of tobacco and airflow to come together and create a nice even burn line and an ash that holds on, and that tobacco just hardy holds on into there.
And a lot of that is construction and the way that the cigar is rolled. Guys like Patoro, Atabey, Crux, those guys, they take their time rolling the cigar, so you're going to get good construction,
You got a
consistent construction.
You don't got a cigar?
He needs a house stick.
Oh, give him Mil Diaz.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's see how a newbie lights his cigar. All right, who do you think he's going to
already
do
cut.
it right?
No, he hadn't.
You
jacked
think?
that.
I would have.
Would you cut that with your teeth?
I
It's all
would've-
cracked
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
I would have screwed that up.
How are you
for sure.
supposed to do it?
Oh, so
Mark
if-
Rogers has walked in. How you doing, Mark?
huh?
Mark Rogers. How you
What?
doing? Because he has the vid.
Oh, he's the vid. How you
Yeah.
doing? Oh, it's an actual.
I
how
think he
you
has the
doing?
vid. Maybe he's over the vid. Shit, who cares? I mean, we're all getting it.
Yeah.
Hard to keep
Chet
up.
Smith is in, and if you have questions, just so you know, this does seem like the ramblings of a madman who sits and eats flies and looks at the wall. And you're right, but we're also going to get into some Cigars 101. And if you have questions, fire them out. Chris had an incredible question this week.
Right. Chris had a question.
You're going to fire that thing up because I don't want to
Yeah.
put you on the
Yeah.
spot.
Chris had a great question. Chris Coulter. He's one of our great contributors to newbies, and what I appreciate the most is not only as newbies, cigar newbies, and for those of you that are on Facebook, if you haven't joined Cigar Newbies, it is a safe place for you to come in and ask any kind of questions, no matter how basic they are. And Chris is always one to not only jump in, but he jumps in and his facts are right.
He is very intelligent.
Yeah.
He is not a newbie. And somebody asked a question about humidification, I think it was last week. And Chris, good on you, because he just took the reins.
Yep.
Was very informative. Was just exactly what you want newbies to be, which is just helpful, goodwill, and you just want people to do it better.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, Chris. It was
Kudos.
really
and,
cool.
and Mark says he's over it now, so good. That's good to hear. Susan Kirby is in, says she can't watch because she didn't have any power. For those of you that are outside of Dallas, it is what we like to call FAC,
Yes.
freezing ass cold.
Yes.
And we've had this town was not built, or the houses were not designed for below zero. So we're almost over it, and we're watching this snowmageddon thing going on down here where people are literally losing their minds. And of course, we're laughing. And the thing I do enjoy about traffic right now, when everybody's driving 18 miles an hour, is it looks like we just robbed a bank. Because we're flying past everybody going 45, making our own lane, and everybody else is driving down the center of the lane going 18 miles an hour with their freaking hazards on.
Yeah.
Give me a break. So anyway, one of the things that Chris brought up was, when you walk into a humidor, how do you know if that humidor is properly maintained? Is the in any other shop, is it properly maintained? Now, when you get into ours, it's no secret. We have state-of-the-art foggers that fog the room. We have sensors strategically located in the center of the room so we can ensure that the entire room is getting humidified. And you can just look on the digital panel and see that it's 70 degrees, 70% humidity. But how do you know when you walk into some of these other shops and you kind of question what's going on in there?
So the first key to this, and it's very important, when you walk into a shop, it's important to understand, how do they display their cigars? Are their cigars displayed in a humidor? Or I don't know if people have seen this before. I know we've seen this before, where their humidor is part of their lounge.
Right.
That's going to be the first key of something's not right here.
Yeah.
If they have their cigars out, tobacco is very permeable, as we see with the barrels that we put it in.
Mm-hmm.
The more guys that just sit in there and smoke, the more those cigars are taking in that
It's breathing.
your smoke.
That cigar is breathing, and it's going to pull in that smell. A lot of guys will talk about how they keep acids and some of the flavored cigars separate from their cigars in the humidor, because that will migrate and cross. I don't want to say cross contaminate, but it will incorporate some of those flavors into the cigar. So it's something to be cautious of. But there are some companies, some shops that just don't invest, if they do have a walk-in humidor, that maybe don't invest into or keep the distilled water in their humidifiers to keep that room foggy. First thing you're going to notice when you walk in is just the feeling of humidity. If you don't feel humidity, you got a problem.
Yep, you will be able to feel, because depending on where you live, you're going to sit anywhere from 30% relative humidity up to about 55-60% relative humidity, depending on the time of year. That humidor, you want to be at 70 and 70. So if you, and when I say that, I mean 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 70% humidity. If you don't feel a difference,
Right.
a cooling effect in the summer or a warming effect in the winter, you have to start asking questions.
Yeah. And at ICC, we actually have a separate air conditioner and heating unit that only controls our humidor. So we're going to keep it at 70 all year long. But it is a challenge. But when you walk in, and if it's 80 degrees outside and you felt no temperature change when you went into that room, you didn't feel any kind of whoosh of humidity, then at that point you really have to go to the next step. And his point was, I don't want to be the guy that's pinching and squeezing cigars all the time, but that is one method to find out just exactly how dry those cigars are.
Yep, and you want to be careful now, is you don't want to crack cigars, but if you pick it up and you just kind of slightly feel through there, if you feel the crunch in your fingers versus the tobacco's going to shift.
Right.
But if you feel a crack, one, you either squeeze too hard and now you got to buy that thing, because don't be an asshole. But two, just be careful, because if it sounds like you're ripping paper, that's going to be an element. From a newbie standpoint, what are some things that would tell you, let's say you walk into a lounge or go somewhere, what are some things that maybe you would see that would put on the brakes and go, hang on, maybe this isn't a reputable place to buy from?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Have you been to a lot of cigar lounges or into a lot of cigar shops?
I haven't. I've been to a few. Obviously, I've been to a couple in Nebraska with you guys, but obviously you guys know where to go, where kind of not,
right.
Where not to go. So, but when we were in Fredericksburg, for example, we went to Fredericksburg and we walked into that cigar lounge. First of all, when you walk in, the filtration was
rough.
It was rough, to say the least. And like you said, you had to walk through the place to get to the humidor, and even the options weren't great.
So for you, really, so air clarity of getting into the humidor is one. That will tell you the quality of the lounge from the beginning.
100%.
And then once you get into the humidor, what does the assortment look like? And that may tell you as well.
I think especially for me, it's organization. I think what's great about here is you walk in and it's so organized. You can see each brand and it pops to you. So I mean, if you are looking for something, it's obviously easy to find, but it's also easy to kind of navigate through and figure out like maybe what is good for your palate. It's just the experience. It's not even about what cigar you're picking here. It's about the experience that you get when you're going through it. Makes you want to come back 100% of the time.
I couldn't agree more. And Chris Coulter's saying, I've seen Beetles in boxes and running across the shelves.
Yikes.
That was an obvious no-no. Let's just go ahead and say this for the record. If you're ever a place that has Beetles running across shelves,
exit stage left.
Stage left and curtains on that place. However, there is a thing that is important to go through. And from time to time, even quality manufacturers, as it goes through fumigation, and they're not using super nasty chemicals, they're really just dropping that temperature down. there are some times when it may get past where there will be a beetle and the hole will just look like a perfect little circle making its way out of there. And you may see that in a box. And it is smart to inspect the cigar that you want to purchase. Because if you see that beetle in there, now it doesn't mean they're all bad.
Right.
And you've probably, if you've smoked cigars for more than 6 months, you probably smoked a cigar with a beetle in it. And
That's
didn't know.
protein.
Yeah. Meat group.
Meat group.
So yeah, that's a good point. I just cigar beetles is a big thing in Pops. If you want to talk about where cigar beetles are prevalent and how to mitigate not having cigar beetles.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that you see when you go to the factories in the Dominican or Nicaragua, those places. They're typically going to have live, functioning, working deep freezes. So they'll take the cigars, they'll put them on a pallet jack, they'll take a pallet of them in and let them sit in the deep freeze, and that will do the best job of killing the majority of the beetles. Beetles, in a sense, are termites. They act like termites when it comes to cigars, and if they infiltrate your humidor, it's not good. And it is something that a lot of times these beetles will lay dormant inside the cigar, and if there's ever a spike, 80 degrees, 85% humidity, something where you get this excessive heat, they come back to life. And at that point, those things will start making a trip through those cigars, and it's very important that you pay attention to those things. Now, the one thing is that I noticed when I went to Cuba is they have deep freezes there, but I noticed that the temperature gauge wasn't lit. So I actually opened the door and there were just more rollers in there. So they didn't even have their deep freeze activated. So if anyone wants to bring a Cuban cigar in here or a box of Cubans and put it in their locker, we require that they tell us that they're putting them in, and we put them in the freezer for 2 days to make sure that it's killed anything, because the last thing we want is infestation in the rest of our humidor.
And why that is important is because if it hops out, and I've seen them bite and chew their way through the cellophane and hop into another cigar. So if you have them in your locker somewhere, it could infest all the cigars.
Or in your humidor. So the main thing is, particularly if you get Cubans, whether they're real or fake, make sure that those things you freeze them for a couple of days just to make sure that you kill any beetles. You just don't want that infestation. If you're at a shop and you pick up a cigar, and even if you're just looking at it to consider that cigar, and you see a beetle hole, I can tell you, as it relates to ICC, bring it to us immediately. We'll immediately look at that box and see if it was a single incident, or there's other issues in that box. And all we have to do, we will go into what I'll call controlled chaos mode. But when we call those manufacturers, they're just as concerned, because we may have 3 of their boxes, but they may have 300 boxes in the marketplace.
Exactly. And if you do find beetles, please let the retailer shop owner know, because they will take that serious. There is not a shop owner, I don't care how poor the shop is, there is no one that is going to let beetles run through hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory and just kill it.
I will say this. Back before we opened the shop, Andrew and I were traveling as he was going out doing his golf stuff, and we went to a shop that had a bucket on the front, at the front counter, and they just had take a stick, $2, and they were all beetle infested cigars, and the guy was selling them for $2 a piece. So we will make sure that they are thrown away instantly and notify the vendor so they can send us another box.
Yeah, most certainly. And I'm curious if anyone who's watching has dealt with beetles, has seen beetles. Have you ever seen them before?
This is new to me. I've never even heard this before. I was going to ask what it was.
They are just little sons of bitches that go through and
they're
eat through
cigar
cigars.
termites is what they are, and they'll if you throw some cigars in that are infested with beetles, and those beetles are live and active, you may open up your humidor a couple months later and it's worked its way through all the cigars in your humidor.
So if you find one, and that's why you want to stay active in rotating your cigars and inspecting your cigars, because if you pick one up and it's in one, especially for the guys that take the cellophane off, that's just easier to just hungry caterpillar all the way through those things.
And here's a tip for those of you guys that buy a bunch of stuff from the mail order houses. Um, you know, if it's sitting in a warehouse, they're going to claim it's a humidified warehouse. And I double dog dare you to show me a warehouse that can hold 70% humidity when doors are being opened for loading trucks, etc. But you take those in and then you throw it in a truck and it spends 8 days heading across the United States in a UPS truck at 85, 90 degrees during the summer. There's a chance that some of those beetles have woken up. Just do yourself a favor. No matter where you get the cigars, just put them in the freezer for a couple of days just to be safe.
Yeah.
And just be cautious because they're no good.
They're little bastards.
Yes, they are.
So, I want to throw down a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
This is the aroma kit that I picked up, aka stole from your office.
Yeah,
Pops, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sure this thing was expensive.
It was.
And Alessia, my daughter, my 4-year-old, and I, it's pretty cool. She can get this stuff. And so she's going to be quite the cigar smoker here in 4 or 5 years.
Well, she's been doing well so far at 4.
Yeah, but now she gets it.
Yeah.
So this aroma kit, since I still have 10 to 20% of my smell remaining, that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you guys, I want to go against you and see if we just run through a few of them. If a somewhat trained palate
Yep.
with very little smell and taste, if I can pick them up and if you can beat me at a blind test of
Have you memorized what they are?
I have a pretty, I'm not going to look at them, but if everyone wants to grab one, if you just want to grab one of them and don't look at the number, hang on here. Okay, go ahead.
So while we're grabbing, what this is there's actually a company in the UK that is geared for sommelier training, and within their training, they have these essential oils that have all of these different flavors, and they're different scents, and some of it is really geared more towards wine. But they have an entire series that's dedicated to typical scent or typical flavors that you would pick up when you're smoking a cigar. So whether it's grass or oak or clove or leather or any of those things. So these are the essential oils that create that scent. And so what we can do is you can either smell it or put it on like a perfume testing card.
So let's start with yours. You smell it and then pass it down and
Okay.
see if you can pick up what you think it is.
Okay, this is number 15.
Don't say anything yet. If you
That
know it.
smells really good.
Okay.
Okay.
Clancy, you do this one.
I know what it smells like. I just know that's not what it is.
Okay.
Ooh. I'm bathing it.
You can bathe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Stick it wherever you
Stick
like.
it wherever you like. Okay.
Smell it. You have an idea what it is?
Are you getting it?
To me, I'm going something. I'm going caramel. I'm going.
That's your.
I'm going caramel. What are you going? What do you think?
What do you think?
I'm going caramel too.
Now that I said it,
Caramel.
Hold it. Chocolate.
15. Suck on them knees.
What is it?
Caramel.
Son of a bitch.
Okay. Next.
I had
you
caramel.
go.
I got caramel and I also got vanilla.
Okay.
And I think
yeah, see, that's-
there is vanilla
Very
in caramel.
Very much.
I think I could have picked
Yeah.
up caramel. I could have picked up that vanilla.
It's coming
too.
back.
Okay. So now
All right,
you're
here we
going.
go. Here we go.
And by the way, we want to do a live Cigar
yeah.
101 here at the shop.
You know what that is?
where we actually do this type of experience where we can go through and start picking out some of those notes. The nice thing is when you take this and you take a nice deep whiff of this and inhale it, it'll actually sit on your palate. And when it sits on your palate, you can identify where it's sitting on your palate.
I got
So that as you taste some of the different
got that.
flavors, you'll identify also where your palate lights up from that flavor.
Okay, so what do you? I'm confident I know what that is.
Me too.
I can smell that.
Me too.
That also smells good.
Both of them kind of in that sweeter side
They
of things,
definitely
right?
are.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I'm going with cinnamon.
I'm going cinnamon.
Yeah,
with you
big
too.
time.
Really?
Gotta
think
be
it is.
cinnamon. Yeah.
What do you think
Cinnamon.
it is?
I'm not getting cinnamon.
What
I think
number is
cinnamon.
Do you have COVID?
No, but I
C1.
I'm
D0.
saying it is.
Okay,
That's a
thank
good
you,
one.
Megan Byers, for keeping score. So far, Pops is losing 1-1-0. And he's about
She's a real mathematician there, isn't she?
Okay. So I think it's cinnamon, hands down.
Hands down.
All right. Well, I don't know what. I don't think it's. Look at the color.
So you-
son of a bitch. I think that is cinnamon.
All
When I
right,
Look at
so
the
now-
color.
Vanilla.
Okay, Begley thinks it's vanilla. She's
vanilla.
See, I kind of got a vanilla.
You
hit
want
out of
vanilla?
it, too.
What number is it?
Too strong.
What number is it?
10.
It is
Too strong.
10.
10. Cinnamon.
Hey.
Please, Megan, please make that 2-2-0. Mind you, he has taste and smell.
That quarterback tight end connection here.
Connection.
It's just
All right.
Anybody
now
can
we're
agree
going
with
here.
anybody, Clancy. It's his birthday.
Oh shit! I
That's
can't
right.
smell this. This is gone. I have. That is absolutely zero to me.
Really?
I have. That does
Isn't it
not,
interesting?
it
You
does
get
not
the sweet.
exist.
You get the sweet notes. What's interesting? Are you feeling where it's like I'm feeling the first two right on the side of my palate, just inside the side of my palate. It's sitting there like oil.
No, mine is not. And so what that's telling me is
that one's tough.
there are certain ones like the cedar I don't get, the oak I don't get. I think that's like a nut of some sort if I'm not smelling it.
See, I'm getting like popcorn.
Oh, okay. Let me just take one more.
I don't
Thank
think
you,
that,
Megan
I don't think
Byers.
there's a popcorn in that assortment, but I haven't looked at that for a couple of years.
Mine's definitely not going to be in that assortment. That's for sure.
What do you think it is?
Smells like a tortilla.
Okay, so you have
Oh.
tortilla, popcorn, and I have it
So
memorized.
if
So,
it's
I know
popcorn,
what it
if
is.
it's popcorn, it could be almost like cracker or bread or something in that.
So I know what this is, and
Okay.
I'm not going to say it.
Well,
But
you got to tell us what it is.
this, I believe this to be hazelnut.
Hazelnut.
Yeah.
Hazelnut's more
Hazelnut.
aromatic than that.
Now, if you smell, now if you think of hazelnut, you think you have it there.
Let's see.
Rigged by the youngsters, Chris Coulter. Team Pop shafted? Question mark.
Yeah, give me another one of them
All right.
bitches.
It
All
does.
right,
I know this is compelling content, but this is
I know,
really,
but this is good
really
because
cool.
I think it's important because Megan Byers is taking score here.
Now, in all fairness, her husband said she sucks at math. So let's just
So
take that into
far,
account.
she's right.
Okay, well,
That one doesn't count as a point. So
then
this
I
is
like it.
okay.
What's
so,
up, Goodner?
Actually, you have to grab it because I kind of know which ones these are.
All right, let's grab this one.
This is the least interactive content ever because no one can smell what we're smelling, and they're just watching three dudes sniff a bunch of stuff. So thanks for everyone who's sticking around here. We should give it to you. We should give you some free stuff.
You got it? Ooh. That's not a good. That's not a good reaction.
Oh man, that is so cool. All right, Tony Gallant, been looking in to make a trip. That is, yeah. If you come down, you can bring 52 back. Bring your girlfriend. That's 104. And yeah, we would love to have you down
I think
here.
I got that.
That'd be awesome.
I think I got that one.
Come down for the Kentucky Derby party. What is it? You get anything?
Oh, I know what that is because I know the number. You got it.
What
is it?
It smells like mocha.
It's chocolate. There's some kind of chocolate.
Boom, boom. It is coffee.
Coffee.
I think it's
That's
coffee.
not as that's a freaking.
That's what I'm saying. I was
It's
like,
super Starbucks
it,
coffee.
it tasted it. I was like, I feel
Yeah.
like I smelt this morning.
That's a
you know?
flappadappa
So
ding
we-
dong
Yeah.
mocha latte flappadappa ding dong.
Chris,
caramel.
I'm apologizing for this, and Chris Coulter says, I watched an entire cornhole match last week. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
So that's good.
We're beating cornhole. That's nice.
This is something that we can definitely do. We'll do something for the newbies, for people who want to join us. We can just sit back here and just huff a bunch of flavors randomly. How about one more for a little kicker here?
Yeah.
Clancy, you grab
One more.
I got it.
Okay.
Let's go to this bottom.
Yes.
Let's go.
It's very valuable.
row.
I mean,
Or top row.
you can pick it up.
All right.
Larry Adams coming down in May. Oh, we'd love to have you. Come on May 1st for the Kentucky Derby.
Yes. That will be a party.
It'll be a party.
It's interesting that I guess coffee and cocoa, I mean, it's somewhat close.
But you're right, that mocha, that kind of mocha latte type of
It had
smell,
more
it's
of
very-
that than I would say coffee. Coffee's very distinctive.
This one's tough.
Oh,
This
you know
one's
what?
Tough.
What number is this? 5? We
Yeah.
just did this.
It is?
Yeah, this is hazelnut.
Yeah.
was
And
gonna- I feel like I
I'm
just-
not buying the hazelnut. I think they're trying to trick us.
All right, bottom row.
Yeah.
This time.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
All right.
This is it. Last one.
B3,
Quadruple
C,
points.
C3, D. Look at this. He looks like he's 4 shoulders in on monkey shoulder
Yeah,
right
he
now.
is. He's all monkey shouldered out.
Flipping us off.
That's one of the things that you guys
I don't
miss
know.
is we have a big window right here and a bunch of clowns that it's like being at the clown zoo. Okay.
Hook up pops.
How old are they?
Huh.
That's tough.
It's not very.
I'm not
That's even
pretending.
worse.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, I'm getting
This is kind
water.
of a tiebreaker here.
That's water.
How do we?
That one's got nothing.
I know what this is.
Yeah, but you don't know what it is. You just know because you know the numbers.
cheated?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what this is because it's distinctly different. And when you smell it,
What's it start with?
tea. And you're not going to think of it because of that. And you guys aren't picking any of that up, right? You pick up absolutely nothing?
I got nothing.
My senses aren't that good.
This one's interesting. Maybe in here it steps on there because I admit that is very faint.
That's tough.
Now it's toast.
I still wouldn't get that. I got more toast out of one of the other ones. The one that I said was popcorn.
Toast?
Toast. You have to smell
So,
it
hey,
out in the lounge.
that's
Okay,
so
so
all you guys-
thanks
there's-
for everyone who's sticking around, who's watching
Yeah,
the
there's a
three
lot of
guys
people
sniff
that
and
are,
stuff.
that are sticking around watching this. Just let us know what you guys.
Actually, here's a question I have from people who are out there because I know I get stuck on one flavor palette. What are some things that you pick up most often out of cigars? Do you pick up more of a nutty palate? Do you pick up more earthy palate? What do you pick up when you smoke cigars? That's what I want to know is what is there. What do you guys pick up? Like for instance, if you're smoking the house, what do you pick up?
For me, it's always I can pick up pepper. Pepper to me is like something that's so distinct and like I can really pick up that pepper taste. Also, like you said, earthy. I don't know. Maybe that's because I am a newbie when it comes to this, and a lot of it does kind of taste earthy. But I think pepper is something that's like, ooh, I got that like off the bat.
For me, I pick up, depending on the cigar, and the things that I look for when I'm getting a cigar that I really enjoy is citrus, or some people call it floral. I enjoy that. I don't enjoy pepper, black pepper, but there are some cigars out there that have a light white pepper. There are some that are have more red pepper. But I'm not a fan of pepper myself because it gets in the way of tobacco, but of the flavor. But the other one another note that's very easy to pick up is cedar.
See, and for me, it's different than that. And so I want to ask the question because I've just recently changed the way that I thought about it. When you're tasting pepper, do you actually taste pepper, or do you
I think you feel it.
experience? You feel pepper.
I think it's because I'm not someone who smokes cigars all the time. I think it's something that I pick up instantly, but gradually, it's definitely
I'm
more of
frozen
an
there.
earthy flavor.
More earthy.
Yeah,
more,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I know pepper's not like
over here.
a great taste to have with a cigar. So
Yeah.
Johnny says he likes he'll pick up cinnamon, which is cinnamon. I've noticed a couple cigars that have a real cinnamon note to it, and cocoa. I think, I've talked about this before. I've talked about when I taste a cigar, I kind of see it in a color wheel. So like this cigar and even that cigar, it's kind of light browns and yellows and stuff like that, tans. It's smoother. When I get into the heavier cigars, then I start seeing burgundy, I start seeing purples, I start seeing then the darker colors. And when it gets real oily, I kind of see it more in a color wheel. And then you try to identify some of those notes. Now this particular cigar, the Mia Diaz from Crown Heads, that particular cigar, I personally, when smoked really slow, like a really slow pull, long, slow pull, I get that right in the center of my palate. I get this rich, creamy root beer. And it is, I drink root beer. I don't drink spirits, so I really like root beer. And there's that, when you drink root beer, it's different than any other pop that you drink. Mm-hmm. It has that creaminess to it. And that cigar, the Mia Diaz, is really, really nice when it comes to that.
Yeah, and Megan Byers is saying, pop, you taste in color. And it really is interesting, especially as I start looking at this. The things I can smell right now are darker. They're brown, they're cinnamon. There are these different things that have that color to it, and it's so unique.
Give me your lighter, Brandon.
did you have Dave, did you have a moment where you're like, you had that kind of sensation of like, you were smoking a cigar one day and you're like, you kind of, related it to
I think
color?
We talk about it a lot when somebody's trying, because one of the big things that comes up on newbies all the time is trying to identify notes and how do you do that. Well, it's hard, but one of the things that we talk about is a lot of times there's a flavor in tobacco, but because it has tobacco riding along with it, you may pick up the note, but because you've never tasted it in that fashion, we use the analogy, imagine if you ate an orange your entire life, but nobody told you it was an orange. But when you smoke a cigar with somebody that has a little bit more refined palate, if they go, I'm really getting an oakiness. Now, oakiness is like the flavor of oak leaves burning, right? So there's this oakiness, or hay. We've walked into a barn or something, you smell that hay. And that smell equates to taste, but when you taste it and then go, I'm really getting a lot of hay or cedar, that tells your mind that's an orange you're eating. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's a matter of connecting those dots. Now there's some cigars that literally have blown me away. One of them was the Chasero Corona.
Yep.
And Brandon, he took a puff on it and was like, holy shit, what do you taste? And I took a puff and we both basically said blueberry at the same time.
Wow.
It was like biting into a blueberry muffin.
It had that warmth. It had that real bready, yeasty flavor with this blueberry ring to it. I haven't, now since then, I don't know if that was a one box because I haven't hit that again. Mm-hmm. But it is, now Frank is saying the Black and Gold is his favorite cigar. And I will second that from a flavor perspective, because that with an extra añejo tequila, it created a Reese's peanut butter cup flavor.
That's crazy pairing type of conversation that I think there's a lot of that type of stuff out there that when you find, think about a Reese's. For those of you that are over 25, you remember the ads where people accidentally dropped their Hershey chocolate bar in a thing of peanut butter and then ate it and went, oh, that's perfect. And that was the way Reese's used to advertise, was how they accidentally came together and then they ate it and went, oh shit, this is peanut butter and jelly right here. This is perfect. And that's, so when you find that pairing that does that thing, a lot of times coffee will accentuate certain flavors because the flavor of coffee and the flavor of tobacco hit the same parts of your palate. So they kind of negate each other and then let the background come forward.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of those notes get picked up.
And Megan Byers is saying, how does a cigar leaf taste like blueberry? It's very interesting because there are only a couple cigars that have this. And both of those utilize some Nicaraguan tobacco, but I think it's got to just be where they're growing it, with the acidity, with the soil, with the whatever it is.
It's all about
There
the
is
soil.
something occurs in
Well,
that cigar,
there's
that
one
tobacco.
thing that's unmistakable is the flavor of a Cuban cigar, whether you like it or not. It has its own flavor, and that is all because of the soil. The pH level in their soil is totally different. It is salt water or salt air is covering over the top of their fields. I mean, it has a distinct hay flavor or saltine cracker flavor, and it's just Cuba. And there are a lot of companies that try to replicate that with tobaccos from other parts of the world. They're just not always very successful.
Yep.
But overall, it doesn't add a lot of oil or anything. There are seeds that you can grow in one part of the world, or take a seed from Connecticut, for example, and grow it in Ecuador, and it doesn't taste anything like the seed that was grown in Connecticut.
And
Same
you're
seed.
exactly right. You're
So-
exactly right. And from the tobaccos, and Clancy, you as a relatively newbie, now, admittedly, you've smoked cigars that no longer exist. Your catalog of cigars is pretty impressive. Now, are there cigars that stick out, or when I just kind of hand the cigars and then nerd out about them, does any of that stick to go, oh, you know what, I like cigars that are maybe more Dominican, or I like certain things out of different cigars? Could you pick out a region that you like more, or how would you decide what you want to smoke?
I don't think I'm really at the level where I can really distinguish like where the tobacco is grown. It's more about, for me, when we're talking the brand of the cigar, and then you tell me where it's grown. That's something that I'm like, that makes sense. Okay, I like so. I think I seem to smoke a lot of Dominican cigars. I've noticed that.
And you'll notice with some of the Dominican cigars, Nicaraguan cigars in general typically have more oil in the tobacco, and it's gonna be heavier. It's gonna have almost a chemical taste. It's gonna impact your palate. But Dominican cigars, a lot of Dominican cigars do splash black pepper on your palate too.
All right. Tiebreaker. Winner takes. I don't want to see it. All right.
Well,
hang on. Don't look at the
It
number
doesn't take
now.
a math major to figure out what you did there.
I just reached in and grabbed it.
Man, that's floral.
Winner
Okay,
takes all.
I got a guess.
Winner takes all.
I got a guess. Don't do the what's hot, what's not section of our show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Intricate flavors come to life. Proper fermentation can clean up the flavors, yeah. And really, what Chris is saying here is the proper fermentation cleans up the flavors, and really what it does is it smooths out your experience. So those touch and feels.
Well, and he's talking about proper fermentation is one thing, age is another. So you can have a leaf that's properly fermented and smoke it at 36 months, and smoke that cigar at 48 months, and it's going to taste different too. So, but proper fermentation, that's where the great farmers come into play, and that's where you start talking about the Plasencia farm in Nicaragua, probably the best farmer maybe in the world. Those guys do a great job.
to me, that smells like fresh cracked pepper.
Really?
wow.
I got
me,
more
that's
floral
what
on
that
I got
more like fresh cracked black pepper.
I got like
out of a peppercorn.
a violet.
Oh, you okay? So you're like violet.
Yeah.
More in that
Yeah.
floral.
Yeah, I'm more in the floral for sure.
See, my first reaction was leather.
Leather.
Mm-hmm.
What number is it?
17.
You were close. Oak.
Oak. So close.
Yeah. And actually, honestly, the next one next to it was leather.
Let me smell leather.
Has to smell so much. Similar.
Actually, Chris, what's that, leather?
Let me smell leather.
Chris, he's saying Clancy should really be smoking a Byron right now for his birthday. First
He
cigar.
just did.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
First cigar was a
And
Byron.
It's very
Aristocrat.
similar.
It was great.
That's very similar to what we just smelled.
Winner takes all. So I think buyers.
That does.
I think
that
you're right.
smells like leather. Big time.
They both smell very similar.
That's nothing. That's water.
So I have a question for you guys. How much? I mean, obviously your palate's evolved a lot over the years, but how much has it changed from when you first started smoking cigars?
That's such a great question.
To now, because obviously when you're first getting into it, you don't really kind of know what you're smoking. Now you do. Do you smoke?
I gotta
do you
tell
smoke
you.
some of the same cigars that you did then that you do now,
Well,
or is it completely changed?
and what happens is I've taken cigars, and we've even thrown this challenge out on Saturday at the shop. We'll talk about the importance of going back and revisiting a cigar that you may have smoked 6 months ago, or you may have smoked back when you first started and you thought, this is the shit. And then you go back, and once your palate matures, and you go back and smoke, because I remember I smoked an Oliva V, and I thought at the time I must know more than anybody in this place because I'm smoking an Oliva V. I went back and smoked that cigar. It did nothing. And it was a one-note wonder. We call one-note wonder a cigar that tastes at the beginning like it tastes at the end. But the cigar had no complexity. It didn't change flavor throughout the cigars. You know, when you smoke that or you smoke this, the first third and the second third and the third third are different. There are some cigars that's the same. But your palate not only matures, but your palate also does this. Sometimes you want to punish it a little bit more. Sometimes it's like, I need a break. And I'll do the same thing. I drink coffee. I'll drink heavy black coffee, and then all of a sudden I'll catch myself throwing a little cream in it. I just kind of want to knock that edge off. And I find myself, those times that I kind of punish myself, I go back down, and then I end up kind of coming back up into the middle. And I go to where it's comfortable and sessionable.
You know what? I think you're right. And off of that as well, what I've noticed is my time of maturity and my time of palate change has substantially decreased. So my palate from my first cigar to my 100th cigar didn't change that much. And then I started getting into a few, and it changed quite a bit. So that gap between, let's call on a scale of 1 to 10, knowing null to a 5, took a long time, years and years and years. And then I started learning, and then it ramped up. And now I notice my palate changes almost monthly, where I'll be hooked on, all I can taste is nuts. And then all I can taste is earth. And I'll go through these changes, much tighter periods of time of my palate changing, and I'm just more connected. Just like you look at a pro motocross rider, anyone could hop on a dirt bike and just ride it. But then once you start fine tuning and start knowing, you're more dialed in, so you have to make finer details, and you start finding that cigar that matches your moment versus a cigar that's going to be good.
Yeah. No, I think that as you smoke some of these cigars, one of the things that I learned after all the years I've been smoking cigars, and we learned it from Darren on Cigar 101 on this show. Darren is the owner of Principal Cigars and is the manufacturer of our house stick. Is to smoke slow, and we've been talking about it a lot recently, but I've noticed that I'm smoking what technically would be a more medium to medium light cigar, but I'm smoking it slower to get more flavors. And it took, I smoked for over 10 years, but the whole idea of smoking slow has made such a difference in the way that I smoke cigars. The idea of just blowing it out and carrying on your conversation, whatever, that's the utility of smoking a cigar. But to just enjoy it, man, I challenge you, just pull 60 or 70% pull really slow, because it gives time for your brain to flip the switch to concentrate on what you're tasting. You know, I think it's so critical. That's why I love this Mia Diaz from Crown Heads, because when you smoke it slow versus when you smoke it fast, it's two totally different cigars.
And that is something that we have been speaking about, and you should try that. So just take a puff, like a big billowing fast smoke. Okay. Now let that chill. Now take just a
really slow.
Really slow, long smoke, the draw. And you notice it comes in cooler. It's not as hot. You'll have a little bit more depth to it. You can hold it for longer so you can enjoy it
You
more.
can taste that, and your brain has flipped the switch and didn't go from, you have a mouthful of something, I got to get rid of it, to when it's coming in, your brain has time to concentrate, to flip the switch to your palate.
Yeah,
taste.
I mean, the flavor is just so noticeable. I mean, that's the one thing. Obviously, when you keep it in, and it's such a good flavor. I think as a new cigar smoker, that can be tough, right? Like it can be a lot to keep it in. It's a lot of flavor, but it's actually a really, satisfying.
That's why a shorter pull, slower, you don't have to fill your mouth with smoke that you feel like, now I got to get rid of it. And when it comes in cool, and I think that's the other lesson that I learned from, just more of a saying from Darren, which was heat kills flavor. And when you can go from an experience of, when you flip the switch so you're no longer feeling the smoke, but now you're tasting it. I asked a guy the question the other day because he's like, I go, this cigar should last you an hour and a half. He goes, oh, not me. I said, well, how long will this last you? 30, 45 minutes. I said, well, at a normal rate, it should last you an hour and a half. He goes, nah, there's no way. I go, let me ask you a question. What does scalding hot soup taste like? And he goes, hot. I said, if you're bringing that cigar in that hard, that hot, you don't taste scalding, you don't taste hot coffee, you don't taste hot soup, you feel it.
Yep.
This gives you, if you have cooler soup, and you blow on it, it's cool, and then you taste it, it's a totally different experience. So newbies out there, just do a pull, slow down, don't rush it. Get a smaller cigar. We need a smaller cigar, a Lancero, even like our, like the cease and desist. Smaller cigar, but just take your time with it. You'll get that 45 minutes out of it. It's well constructed. And it's just you'll just taste it. Yep. And it's just such a huge difference. And you see guys, I mean, I draw the analogy to the guys that are out going to the bar and they're going there for one reason. It's not to taste the Jack Daniels, it's to get lit.
Yeah.
So you shoot it, but the guys that are pouring the nice expensive bottle, they're sipping it, they're smelling it, they're going through that motion.
And you're right. So the guy who's smoking fast, if you're firing through factory smokes and just trying to go through the utility, fire away. Slow down though. Take your time. You got to slow your way through this.
And what'll happen is cigars that go back and smoke some cigars that you've smoked in the past and just smoke them slower, and it's another cigar. And it's you can almost make that statement across the board.
Yeah.
Because I think if you get a really heavy cigar, think about some of Espinosa's heavier stuff, some of the Tabernacle stuff. That's heavier, oily. The heat is going to loosen up that oil and put that on your palate, and then it just sits on your palate. And then from that point on, that's kind of all you taste.
Yep. Yeah. I think you're exactly right. Glancy, what is another cigar tale that you can think of? So we were in Colorado, in the mountains, smoking a cigar, having an incredible time, disconnected, everybody together, having a blast, sticking you on a downhill mountain bike, you almost dying. We get through and realize cigars are actually not that good in the mountains.
True.
But the experience was good.
Great experience.
What else can you remember as just a cool cigar experience?
I don't know if you're trying to pull something out of me here.
No. I'm not.
No.
I'm not any. I'm curious any direction.
When we were in Mexico, and we were at the Cigar Lounge in Mexico.
In Guadalajara?
In Guadalajara,
Casa
yeah.
Blend.
That was the full experience of the culture, not speaking the language, but being able to still kind of speak the language with them, based off my experience, obviously having you there too. That was incredible. I think that was kind of almost like the turning point where, that was the first time I started smoking cigars like during the day. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of what changed things for me. Even kind of my palate too, sort of changed. And being able to, I think what you guys are talking about, because I used to smoke cigars really fast, and that's when I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this. I'm not having fun. I get through half of it, I'm like, I'm done. And then once I started to smoke them a lot slower, I really started to really enjoy the experience. But that time in Mexico was an incredible experience.
That's when we saw Chasero. We just sat at the Casa Blend and worked all day, all week, and just sat there and smoked cigars and drank Carajillos. And yeah, I completely agree. Just sitting and feeling the experience.
Yeah.
But you notice how nobody says, it was that time I was sitting in the garage and it was 14 degrees. I was freezing my ass off and I burned this cigar as fast as I could. It's always about the culture, the experience, being in that cigar world and allowing yourself to enter it. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, particularly newbies, are afraid to sit in a group of guys or gals and be afraid that maybe they're not doing it right or they're not getting the flavors out of it and just feel out of place. But if you get into the right culture where everybody just loves the fact that you're new, so that you can get pulled into the lifestyle.
Yep.
Because then what comes along with it is that enjoyment, that relaxation, that excitement.
Well, I kind of have a question for you guys. So how exciting is it for you when you have somebody come in and they've literally, like, maybe it's their first or second time smoking cigars?
Oh, I get giddy as hell.
Yeah.
I get giddy as hell because you feel, and people are honest with you, it's my first cigar. I'm always just like, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the dark side. Everything's going to change. And you get to be a part of somebody's first cigar experience.
Yeah.
To me, that is, it's so rewarding.
I got to tell you, Mike, and maybe Jim Trader's still on here watching. Jim Trader's become a dear friend. His son and Nathaniel and another friend came in, and Trader is just this big dude.
He's Russian KGB.
Yeah, Russian KGB. And his son, when you see him, you go, that dude's an actor. I mean, he's just got to be. So they came in, and I go, what brings you in today? And they go, we're having our first cigar. I said, you're driving down the tollway 80 miles an hour. I said, nope, you know what? We need to go have our first cigar. And he goes, well, actually, I just got a roll. Well, I'm old, and I don't remember shit, or I don't hear things just exactly right. So I thought he said he's on parole. So this whole time I'm going, man, he looks like a nice guy. I went, what the hell did he do? So I went through the whole thing and explained everything, and they ended up they actually had cigars in their hands. And I said, well, there's really the best cigar in the world is an Atabey. And they said, well, we want the best cigar in the world. So they all got Atabeys. Jim became a member and a private member within the next 30 days. And he's fighting a fight right now, but a guy that is here every day when he has the opportunity.
Yep.
And it became an important part of Nathaniel's life. It became an important part of the two of them doing this experience together. But to watch these guys have their first cigar and to be able to explain, here's how to smoke and let the ash stay on as long as you can.
Yep. And
we're going to toast the foot, and explaining that process, and then watching those guys sit down and just enjoy each other and the excitement that he was, now on parole. Which was actually a role that he just landed for a significant TV show. So that was cool, but I'm operating under the fact that the dude just got out of jail. So what do I know?
That was incredible. And Clarissa's asking in, and this is a really cool question because Clarissa comes in often. She's just a great value add to the shop, great personality. I think she's just awesome. And I would think that, and I'll just say it, I would expect that she would know the proper way to draw, and I applaud just asking this in, and thank you for that. But she said, what is the proper way to draw? Sometimes I tend to almost hold my breath, which doesn't allow me to experience the smoke joy and the flavor to its fullest. Not inhaling, but I just don't know the proper way to take it in. So how would you explain the best way to take a draw and to really experience what that flavor is.
Well, I think obviously you're not going to inhale. And if you can, I don't know if our friend Rodney Smith is on here. There's only one person in the world that can't do this, and that's Rodney Smith with SSW. If you guys aren't members of Someone Say Whiskey, join Someone Say Whiskey. But we've already addressed the fact that you want to bring it in slow, and just keep that smoke as cool as you possibly can. But the one example is just to pull it in slow, exhaust to a point where you've got about 75% gone, and then push the rest through your nose, and you will taste your palate. Imagine a volume knob gets turned from 4 to 10 when you retrohale through your nose. So it just looks basically like this.
So just utilizing, just kind of clutching
And
with
just
your,
push it through your nose.
you really clutch that draw in the suction with your tongue. You kind of just pull that back, and that's going to reverse and pull that thing back. And once you pull that in, you can continuously, and I notice I'm almost exhaling through my nose as I'm drawing in with my tongue. And that just keeps that movement going and activates my olfactory senses when I had them. And so when you pull those things in, then you can just kind of be there. If you draw slow, it's not going to burn, it's not going to sting, so you can just let it be there. I'll exhale slightly and then just let that flow.
There's one thing that I've picked up from several of the master blenders that we've sat with. Sebastian is one that does this quite a bit. Our friend here, Johnny Goodner, does it quite a bit. And that is, and if you want to really impress your friends when you're sitting in the cigar lounge, just smell the cigar. Smell the foot of the cigar. Get that cigar, just get that smell into your nose. Just smell that cigar. And that's one of the things that will really activate your palate, light your palate up a little bit so that next draw is nice. But you'll see it a lot where people will just smell at a certain point in that cigar. Because think about it, what's coming off the cigar is the same thing that's going in.
Yep.
But you get so much more when you get an opportunity to smell it. So if you can't retrohale through your nose, but I noticed that I've been doing longer pulls, slower pulls, and then as I release it, I'll actually pull it in through my nose, which is a little different approach, kind of the opposite. But it just lets you, as the smoke just kind of rolls up your face, just pull a little bit of that smoke in and kind of kick things up.
I will retrohale basically every single draw, more or less, because I want to see what's changing, what's moving, how it's changing. Do you retrohale on every pull, or how do you draw it normally? Are you a, what they call a puffer? You just go straight in, straight out?
I go straight in, straight out. I think it's because I'm not as experienced, and sometimes when I try doing the retrohale, I bring it a little too much.
Some will do it a little early.
Yeah, a little early too. Exactly. Like I want to get to it right away. It's almost like when I first started smoking cigars, I just smoked it quick and puffed it out instead of letting it settle and then slowly pushing it out. Mm-hmm. So
it's up to you. I mean, there's no wrong way to do it. And then I think I'll find a way to cap it off.
And let me just say this though, I've seen some people that put it in their mouth and they pull it against their teeth. I kind of like to bite down a little bit and try to get a tighter pull. I don't want to pull it through my teeth. I don't want my teeth to turn brown, but I also want to just have a nice tight suction on that, and I use that by just barely pressing down with my teeth.
Yep. And as we're getting to the end of our cigars, just a good bit of reminder in lounge etiquette, and just really for everywhere. When you're done with a cigar, there is a great way to finish a cigar when you're done smoking it, to show respect to the roller, to show respect to the entire process, and that is what you'll see here in our extremely dirty ashtray, which are cigars that just die out.
Let it die out.
As you smash that in, that's going to do a couple different things. One, that's going to take all that heated oil and coagulated tar, that's just going to blow it everywhere into the lounge and the people you're surrounding. It's like farting and then just getting up and leaving.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
That's
It's
not good.
it's also
Don't
your,
death cloud
it's
it.
also
No.
your way to show the lounge that you either still smoke cigarettes or at one point you did. And it is there's a great book that was written by the guy that is really renowned as the world's greatest expert of creating tobacco, Cuban gentleman, and he wrote a book called 529. And what he did is he defined the 529 steps that take place in the manufacturing of a tobacco to the point it goes in the box. 529 steps. Think about the hands that goes through. They talk about 300 hands touch the cigar before. There's so much labor that goes into it, and we've seen it firsthand. So I think the biggest thing is just paying respect to the artist, because it is an art form. And the way it would be like the same thing as having a gourmet meal and then just picking up the plate and shoveling it in your face as fast as you can. You're being disrespectful to the chef and the people that worked on that.
Take your time, run through it, and you'll see it, because we do plan on having a live cigar roller in here in April as a part of First Friday. So you'll be able to see what kind of art that is, and it really will give you a whole different level of respect. And it's just
I'll tell you, it's I watched some rollers in Cuba that were doing some special shapes, and to see the extra effort and work that goes into making some of these unique shapes, it was art. The way that these guys were, they would recut a cigar open and take tobacco out and then pull the wrapper back down and make it into a point and all this other stuff and cut it. And it's like, oh, that's how you make one of those, Figurado shape or a Salamone. So there's, that's one of the things. And this is kind of the tip of the Dave too. When you go into a shop, if you find a cigar that has a unique shape, like the House, a Torpedo, a Salamone, which is a torpedo that bellies out and then comes to a point, Perfecto that kind of bellies out, they're always going to put the best rollers in the factory on a non-traditional shape. So the odds that you're going to get a better performing cigar when they do that is much, much higher than the guy that's just making the standard Robusto or Toro Vitola.
Yep, exactly. So what we're trying to say is, happy birthday, Clancy.
That's all we're really trying to say. We're actually not even on the internet.
No.
This
isn't
is
even
all
No,
a
we're
facade.
gonna go live here soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
this isn't even live.
Yeah, this is a facade. So
shoot.
happy birthday.
Yes,
We love you.
Thank you.
you're a good kid.
Thank you so much. This was great. Can I come back?
Yeah, you can come back.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Should he come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take a look.
of course.
That's it. So if you don't have power, we're in business. Come work from here, so you don't have to check unless you don't want to work. But then you can say your power's out and then just come up here and smoke cigars. More than welcome to do that. Bring your laptop, pull it up. We got coffee set up, and this is a place to be.
We got power, we got heat,
Great people.
Great.
and
people.
great,
People.
That's it. And some fellow with a Nautica jacket making his way through the refrigerator. So
Yeah, sure.
with that, we're
Sounds
going to do this. We're going to sign off. We're going to tell you we love you.
Love you.
Talk
See
to
you
you
next
later.
week. See you Saturday at the shop.
Nope. I'll be in Mexico.
Ooh.
I'll see you